Fall into a deep, healing slumber with this dreamy sleep story and guided meditation entitled Deep Sea Fantasy. This story will reconnect you with the imaginative powers of your own inner child as you experience what it is like to be a sea turtle, a dolphin, and a blue whale on this sea escape beneath the stars. Transformation is a part of life, as you began as mere cells and have occupied many different bodies over time. Your body is not the same as it was as a baby, or as a 5-year-old or a teenager, or any year of your life. You are constantly changing. In this fantasy tale, you will experience fluidity in a way that will carry over into your waking life, helping you to better adapt to the ever-changing flow of being alive. So find a safe place where you may fall asleep before we take this deep sea voyage. I would like to welcome you to Michelle's Sanctuary. My name is Michelle, and as you are listening, please think of my voice as that of a dear friend and fellow adventurer. I am here to open your mind to dreamy landscapes that your imagination may customize. Because you know what is best for you more than anyone else in the world, you may let go of my voice at any point should you wish to fall asleep before the end of the story. You may always return to listen again. As I guide you, you will actively replace all your imagined worries with imagined beauty, adventure, and mystical possibilities. You deserve to experience dreamscapes that warm your heart and nourish your spirit before you cross over the bridge to your sleeping life. It's time to dream away. As you are feeling cozy, snuggling up in the safety of your room, you may feel gratitude that you have this time and place for you. Imagine your room is like a pod, safe for dreaming and surrendering. Wiggle out any tensions of the day and take in the deepest breath that you can. Let your whole body fill with air, and let your mouth turn into a yawn if that works for you. And then sigh it out. Continue to take a few more deep breaths at your own leisure. Concentrate on the dark you see on the backs of your eyelids. Focus on the sensation of being in this pod of a bedroom and being safely enclosed. You could be anywhere, but I invite you to imagine that you are contained within the safety of an unhatched shell among many other unhatched sea turtle eggs buried in a hole in the sand. Within the protection of your shell, you can hear the delicately lapping waves of the sea and the gentle breeze calling to you as you develop a keen awareness of the outside world. The shell around you softens the sounds, but you feel vibrations from the other hatchlings in your nest starting to emerge from their shells for the first time into the dark safety of night. You feel it is time to break free from the refuge of your shell and explore the new world that awaits you. You feel ready and inspired by the braveness of others, and you begin to move and break through your shell. The first crack causes further fissures in the only home you have known in this brief life. And as the cracks form, a silver ray of light breaks through the darkness brought on by the full moon that has settled in the velvety starry sky above. The cool night air meets your nostrils in what is the first breath ever taken outside of the protective shell. The briny air is intoxicating and humid, and with your acute sense of smell, it is a gift that heightens your appreciation for the newness of breathing the open air. You wiggle out of the shell with a new freedom. You hear percussive clicks and clacks made by the crackling of shells of the dozens of other baby sea turtles in your nest. Like you, they are about to discover their new lives. In tandem, they are scattering for the first time on a spontaneous march towards the sea. The night provides safety as you push through the powdery white sand cast in a shade of dark blue from the night's sky. You sense the unity and strength in numbers as you collectively follow this inner guide, finding your own strength that is required to clumsily get your bearings. The beach is protected by a cove as jagged limestone sea cliffs reach towards the stars and shine like yellow topaz beneath the light of the moon. You move awkwardly yet swiftly with the shadowy figures of your turtle tribe as the dry beach transforms to glistening and packed sand, and the sound of the ocean becomes louder. You feel the wet, cool sand beneath your flippers, and the suction that occurs from the imprints your body makes in the sand. The beach is now covered with the tiny impressions of sea turtles scuttling towards the water, and it looks like a painting by Monet, shimmering in the light of the moon. The wet sand is reflective and like an iridescent pool of oil that gleams mystically in the darkness of night. You feel a sense of freedom that comes when one takes a risk and steps beyond the safety of the known. Fear and excitement are emotions felt similarly, but it is the active decision of your mind to choose how to process this. And in the body of a new sea turtle, coming closer and closer to the cream foam of the surf, you choose to embrace the warm feeling of excitement. The balmy weather makes it a perfect night to be welcomed by the lapping waves of the ocean. You listen to the soft sound of dozens of little flippers padding on the shore, hearing as your own flippers accelerate towards the incoming tide. For the first time, a wave gently touches your sensitive front flippers, and it feels like a warm tickle. The other baby sea turtles have made it into the waves, And after you take another deep breath, you scuttle quickly and merge with the next incoming wave as it gently crashes on the shore, and the undertow brings you out to deeper waters. You feel so free. As your flippers are submerged in the salty turquoise waters, you feel like a bird taking flight for the first time. The awkwardness you felt on land is now replaced with a feeling of grace and belonging. You feel light and yet strong as you paddle with the waves and then surrender to the tide. It's so easy to stay afloat and to adapt to the gentle undulations in the safety of the cove. For the first time, you dare to dive deeper into the aquamarine waters, swimming towards the coral reef below. The colors of the reef pervade the darkness in shades of coral and salmon and vibrant hues of leaf green and yellow and lavender. You feel like a new explorer, and the world around you is so large. You swim by sea urchins, and their spines are like black sewing needles that create a silhouette against the porous, colorful coral reef. Tropical fish dash around like flashes of a rainbow, slowing down occasionally to look at you curiously. But for the most part, you are left to your own exploration. You feel protected in your shell, as if wearing a coat of armor. It makes you feel brave in the seemingly endless ocean, where most creatures are larger and senior in rank. You feel a sense of belonging among the starfish and seahorses that you swim past as you head back towards the surface of the water to take a breath. You swim, moving your flippers rapidly as your pointed tail wiggles behind you and your neck extends from your shell to breach the water and gasp the air that gets cooler as the night wears on. You float along the gentle waves and see oncoming ripples of silvery gray, like moonbeams arcing over the incoming waves. The graceful forms come closer to reveal themselves as a pod of dolphins. They emit high-pitched squeals and playful chatter, and you continue to bob in the waves beneath the starry sky. Everything feels so grand and expansive when you are new to life and but the size of a sand dollar. There is nothing to fear when so much is an unknown adventure. One of the dolphins breaks away from the pod and swims towards you. Intuitive and bright, it notices your smallness and approaches in a way that feels safe and loving. And being new to life, you feel curiosity take hold as you wonder what it must be like to be a dolphin. There is magic in the night air, and one of the moonbeams comes to life, and the ocean is suddenly awash with an iridescent, shimmering wave that expands like a glittering blanket of white as far as the eye can see. Your tiny eyes meet the eyes of the bottlenose dolphin, just as his rostrum or nose comes down to playfully nudge you in the phosphorescent sea, and you suddenly transform into a dolphin. As you find yourself in this new form, you are very grateful and express this with a high-pitched chirp as the water returns to its natural blue state. The feeling of youthful curiosity has been replaced with a warm, overwhelming feeling of happiness. You notice a strong sense of intuition that guides you, trusting your instincts and innate intelligence. You swim towards the other dolphins in the pod, feeling a connection to all of them as they show off their fins, and then they breach the water to form perfect circles, cresting over the waves and diving into the deep water to then emerge again. Your skin is shiny and thick and feels like a protective bumper. It is more rubbery and flexible than the sensation you had as a sea turtle. Your flippers direct you as the flukes of your tail slap against the water like a decorative hand-held fan flapping against the evening air. The pod begins to swim away from the protection of the cove, and for the second time in one night, you leave all that is safe and familiar to venture into the unknown. The water, still glittering like moissanite, becomes darker in shades of cerulean and sapphire blue beneath the moon's everlasting glow. You stay close to the other dolphins, feeling strong as you dive through the calm waves. You feel connected to all forms of life in the sea, and this connection is what ignites the sensation of joy that pervades every choice and every action. In the distance, there is a sailboat guided by the trade winds, with its white sail jutting against the darkness of the horizon and starry sky. You feel drawn to the boat and swim towards it, noticing the movement of an older gentleman who is the captain of the boat. His bronzed face has weathered from years in the sun and dried out from the salty air, but his eyes twinkle in the darkness like the stars above. Dressed in white pants and a navy sweater, he sits on the bow with his legs leisurely extended in front of him, enjoying the soft mist of the sea as it lands upon his bearded face. He stirs in welcome surprise as he notices your approach to the boat and smiles. You are considered to be a sign of good fortune, and you feel the energy of what it is like to be celebrated for being you. You come close enough to the boat that he may extend his hand and stroke your face, which he does. His hands are rough and calloused from a lifetime at sea, but they feel warm and comforting in this kind exchange. Your brief interaction fills his night and the many nights to come with a connection that compounds any feelings of loneliness that a man at sea may have. In but a moment, you are able to impart this magical feeling of oneness and of hope. And you carry this memory with you as the captain waves goodbye and you swim away towards deeper waters. The sapphire blues of the ocean become shades of navy black as the waves continue to reflect the moonlight like millions of tiny mirrors set across a dark, billowing blanket. The surface of the water is silky, with the occasional white crests that form like delicate lace. Everything is easy about this night. With your acute vision, you go under the surface of the water and notice a large form that is the size of a vessel. Your instinct to be social inspires you to swim quickly towards the object that soon reveals itself to be a blue whale, the largest animal in the world. It weighs over 100 tons and can live to be 70 years old. Beneath the water, the long and slender mottled gray-blue body of this endangered mammal appears to be uniform in a shade of indigo. You swim towards its broad, flat head to make eye contact with the seemingly sleeping whale. When your eyes meet one of the grapefruit-sized eyes of the blue whale, you again feel a connectedness. And as you find yourself wondering, what would it be like to be a whale? A beam of opal moonlight illuminates the water, cascading over you and everything around you like a blanket of white, sparkling snow. And as it dissipates, you realize you have been transformed into a blue whale. Everything feels slower and heavier compared to the agility you felt as a baby sea turtle and as a bottlenose dolphin. But you luxuriate in the sensation of having so much space that is yours. Because even at this size, you may float in the seemingly endless ocean and still feel small. There is more than enough space for you on this diverse planet to roam and enjoy the splendor of being you. It is not easy to see with such small eyes in the dark of night and the darkest parts of the sea, and so you rely on instincts in a different way. You feel the vibrations of life, and these physical sensations from sound inform you. With ears located on the inside and not the outside, your body is streamlined for swimming efficiently and gliding through the deep waters with grace and ease in spite of your enormity. You hear the sounds of other blue whales, contentedly emitting sounds in a low frequency, and it calms you. You reply in your own whale song, feeling the vibrations travel through the cool water. These low sounds have wavelengths as wide and long as the body of a beluga whale and can travel thousands of miles through the darkest of waters. You relish this innate ability to communicate. The sounds are at such low frequencies, the human ear could not detect them. But you can connect to members of your species across the ocean in this secret, ancient language you inform one another of when it's time to move on, where to forage for food, and when it is safe to rest. And now you take a deep dive into the water, going down to enjoy the dark stillness below the waves. You are able to hold your breath for up to an hour before returning to the surface for air. It is amazing to live your life based on instincts and what is encoded in your DNA. You never question your instincts. You simply let them guide and protect you. You don't worry about the future. You live in the present and react and make adjustments when the need arises and as the tides change and the days come and go. You go with the flow, fluid like the habitat around you. After a deep dive into the blue-black waters, you return towards the surface, and the temperature warms the closer to the surface you swim. In the body of the largest mammal, the slightest motion makes great ripples expand far beyond you, with as much of an effect as the movement of a ship. It feels powerful to create these ripples as you breach the surface and splash down, going under again. You swim through streams of moonlight that cut through the water like spotlights. Extending your blowhole towards the cool air, you exhale and then inhale and feel quite tired. Positioning yourself beneath the starlit sky, way out at sea, you are in a safe place to drift to sleep, becoming one with the flowing waves that massage you and gently undulate, moving you to and fro. Again, you are reminded that no matter how large you are in physical form, even as the largest mammal on the planet, you are still small in the scheme of everything. There is room for you to claim your space and never apologize for the space you take up. This is your life. You own it. And you deserve the life that is given to you. And no matter the magnitude of problems, there is a magnitude of solutions and a vastness of space in the ocean and universe that you may connect to, and it will support you. Adjusting to things as they come up, in the same approach as the sea turtles and bottlenose dolphins and blue whales that adjust their courses at sea, with fluidity and with a trust in their own instincts, soothed by the low tones of the deep ocean. Like a lullaby only you and those like you can hear, you drift out of consciousness, deeper and deeper down into a state of relaxation and ease. The ocean waters are like a soft blanket that caresses and massages you as you float beneath the clear starry sky that has been used to navigate these great waters by centuries of adventurers. who came before you. You let go, surrendering to sleep. And when you come to think of the ocean, or come upon the salty, briny sea air in the future, you may think of the smallness the ocean makes you feel, feeling like a pearl within the belly of an oyster. The ocean's moods can change by the moment, from cresting whitecaps and perilous riptides to a dreamy, hazy sea. With the same fluidity your emotions and ride through this life may take. But right now, in the state of stillness, you can just be, tied to nothing but the moment. You recognize how transformative it is to be one with yourself and all that is around you, just as you were in this story, as a curious sea turtle, as a happy dolphin, and as a magnanimous blue whale. All you had to do was to imagine something to become it. You float and drift, enjoying the sensation of being out at sea, safe beneath the night sky. You are always safe. That feeling comes from within, recognizing the eternal spark within you and knowing you are more than what meets the eye. You are part of something bigger, and you always will be. And you may let go of my voice and float across the stream that connects your waking and dreaming life. I am going to count you down to this place of restorative and healing dream-filled sleep. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Finding release, finding peace, finding sleep. It's time to dream away. Good night.